If you're listening right now, you probably already know this feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
That deep, unsettling confusion, the despair, and that relentless self-doubt.
It sets in when you realize someone close to you, a partner, a family member, is operating on a completely different set of rules.
Right. And you've tried everything. Reasoning, compromising, pleading.
All the conventional tools. And they just don't work.
In fact, they seem to pull you deeper into this quicksand of manipulation, of gaslighting. You're just perpetually on edge.
And that feeling, that emotional exhaustion, is completely valid. It's the natural result of engaging with a toxic dynamic.
So what we're doing today is a deep dive based on a key resource, the ultimate no-contact and gray rock playbook.
Our mission is to extract the tactical steps, the psychological understanding you need to, well, reclaim your life.
Okay, so let's start with the landscape of toxicity. The material is very clear this is far more than just a bad relationship.
It is. The pattern is everything. We're talking about a persistent, damaging system.
And it has some really clear hallmarks.
Definitely. A profound lack of reciprocity is a big one. You feel like you're the only one investing, the only one trying.
Then there's the emotional volatility, that feeling of
Walking on eggshells.
constantly.
Yeah, combined with that relentless criticism that
Sure.
just it chips away at your self-worth.
And of course, the most insidious one, gaslighting, making you question your own memory, your own sanity.
The source material lists some common archetypes: narcissistic, borderline, other high conflict styles. Not to diagnose, but to help you spot the pattern.
Exactly. Recognizing the pattern is what informs your strategy. It allows you to predict the moves, and prediction is power here.
And regardless of the specific label, the impact on the person experiencing it is profound. It's not just anxiety, it's something deeper.
It is. It's the formation of a trauma bond. The playbook calls this the invisible hook, and that's a perfect description. Why is that bond so incredibly hard to break? It seems counterintuitive.
Because it's a psychological addiction, not a healthy attachment. It's forged in a cycle of abuse, but it's amplified by something called intermittent positive reinforcement.
Okay, break that down.
Well, the abuse creates massive stress. Then, the toxic person offers a small, fleeting moment of kindness or hope. The love bombing phase comes back for a moment.
And your brain, your nervous system, latches onto that relief.
It interprets that relief not as the absence of danger, but as a reward for staying. That cycle stress, then a little bit of hope, then relief, is incredibly addictive. It hijacks your survival instincts.
And that's why so many intelligent, capable people stay trapped. They're clinging to the hope that the good person will finally stick around.
Exactly. The sunk cost fallacy, fear of being alone,
Hmm.
it all ties back to that powerful, addictive bond.
So if communication only feeds that cycle, we have to talk about the foundational countermeasure, no contact.
Yes. And we have to be clear why normal methods fail so spectacularly.
It's because your reasoning and empathy are
Okay.
their currency.
Right. That's the perfect way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
When you try to explain your pain, argue, defend yourself, you're engaging in what the book calls the nexus of pain.
You're giving them their narcissistic supply.
You are. Whether it's anger, tears, panic, they get a reaction.
Yeah.
And that tells them they still control your emotional state. That's a win for them.
So engaging isn't just futile, it's literally providing fuel for the fire.
Which is why no contact has to be an absolute severance, a radical act of self-preservation.
It's non-negotiable for healing that trauma bond.
It has to be an absolute cutoff.
Mhm.
We mean zero direct communication. No calls, texts, emails, nothing.
And zero indirect communication. That's a big one people miss.
It is. You have to shut down the flying monkeys, the mutual friends or family they manipulate to get to you.
And in today's world, that also means zero social media, blocking, not just unfriending, no sneaky looks at their profile.
The digital front is critical. The playbook calls this building your digital fortress.
So what does that involve practically?
Change all your passwords. Enable two-factor authentication. Block every number, every account immediately.
The playbook also mentions a key step for your email inbox.
Yes, this is brilliant. Set of filters to automatically delete any incoming messages from them without you ever seeing them, not even the subject line.
That's so powerful. It removes the temptation to engage with a manufactured crisis.
It protects your peace. The whole point of NC is to starve that trauma bond of the intermittent reinforcement, to let your nervous system finally quiet down and realize the danger is gone.
But phono, no. Contact isn't always possible.
Unfortunately, no. If you share children or a workplace or legal ties, you can't just vanish.
And that is where we deploy the strategic emotional shield. Gray rock.
Exactly. Gray rock is the survival strategy for when you're forced to have some contact.
So the goal is to make yourself uninteresting.
Utterly uninteresting. You transform yourself from this, vibrant, reactive target into a bland, dull, gray rock. They get nothing from poking at you, so they eventually get bored and move on.
That sounds simple, but it must be incredibly difficult to maintain that detachment when you're being deliberately provoked.
It's a skill, and it's built on a few core principles. The first is the emotional flatline.
Meaning you convey no discernible emotion?
None. No anger, no joy, no frustration, just neutral. Second, minimal information. Only the bare minimum of necessary facts.
Brevity is your best friend.
It absolutely is. Responses should be short, factual. Understood, confirmed, I am unavailable.
And what if they push? If they try to bait you into an argument?
That's where you use the broken record technique. You just calmly repeat your neutral statement, no explanation, no justification.
And that brings us to a really vital acronym from the playbook. Never JADE.
Yes. Justify, argue, defend, explain.
It sounds like normal communication, but in this context, it's toxic.
It's toxic because it gives them entry points for control. When you justify, you accept their authority to judge you. When you argue, you give them the fight they crave.
Defending signals their opinion matters, and explaining
Gives them data they can twist and use against you later. Silence and boundaries are your only tools, not JDE.
So how does this play out in a high-conflict area like co-parenting?
The rules have to be ironclad. Communication must be strictly written, ideally on a court-recognized app like our Family Wizard,
Which creates a documented record.
a neutral third-party record. And the content must be only about logistics, schedules, health, no personal discussion. If the message isn't about tomorrow's school pickup, you ignore it.
And at work.
Same principles. Interactions are purely work-related, formal, concise, dispassionate. Use official channels. Keep witnesses present if you can.
Okay, so once you implement no contact or gray rock, you're essentially pulling the plug on their emotional life support. You have to be ready for the backlash.
That is exactly right. You are inflicting a profound wound on them. A loss of control, a loss of supply, and a deep narcissistic injury. Their reaction is highly predictable.
It follows a 4-stage playbook.
Yes. Stage 1 is hoovering.
The attempts to suck you back in.
Right. This could be a love bombing, rerun, sudden apologies, promises to change. It could be pity plays like, I'm so sick without you. Or manufacturing a crisis that only you can solve.
And if those softer attempts fail?
Stage 2. Escalation and devaluation. This is rage.
The smear campaign.
The inevitable smear campaign. They will work tirelessly to destroy your reputation, painting themselves as the victim to anyone who will listen. This can also involve threats, harassment, legal abuse.
And that leads to the moment that tests your resolve the most. Stage 3.
The extinction burst. This is a crucial psychological phenomenon. It's when their attempts intensify dramatically just before they stop.
So it's actually a sign that it's working.
It is the ultimate proof that your strategy is working. They're pushing every button they have to get a reaction. Your absolute silence during this phase is the final test.
And if you pass that test, you reach stage 4.
The lull and discard. This means they found a new source of supply.
The silence must feel unsettling.
Very. But it was never be mistaken for permanent safety. No contact has to be perpetual, because they often revisit old sources when new ones dry up.
So the defense against all 4 stages is unwavering silence. No JE. But what about physical safety, legal preparation?
Absolutely critical. Meticulous documentation is your single most important practical step.
Detailed logs.
Of every single incident. Date, time, platform, the exact content of the message or threat, and any witnesses. Screenshots, emails, police report numbers.
Why is that level of detail so crucial?
Because if you need a protective order, or if they launch false legal attacks, your documentation becomes evidence. It turns chaotic emotional abuse into verifiable data that courts and authorities can understand.
This journey is about so much more than just escaping. It's about reclaiming your life.
The healing is imperative. You're often dealing with the aftermath complex, PTSD, anxiety, hypervigilance.
So trauma-informed therapy is key.
It is. Therapy that focuses on regulating your nervous system.
Yeah.
But you also need to do the work of, as a book says, excavating your authentic self.
Reclaiming the passions, the values, the identity that got buried under all that criticism.
And we can't ignore the financial piece. Financial abuse is a common tool of control.
So reclaiming your life means reclaiming your financial autonomy.
Immediately. Separate, independent bank accounts. Securing your vital documents, birth certificate, social security card, Your autonomy hinges on your financial stability.
And finally, to prevent this from ever happening again, you have to turn those missed red flags into an internal early warning system.
You do. The key is committing to the slow burn, not fast flame in new relationships.
Resist that initial high-intensity love bombing.
And instead, build new connections based on consistency, respect, and trust that develops over time, not overnight in some thrilling emotional roller coaster.
So we've covered the map of toxicity, the defense strategies of no contact and gray rock, and the preparation you need for the predictable reactions. You now have a blueprint for independence.
And the greatest insight here is that you're no longer just reacting to their chaos. You've learned that your peace is not a gift you wait for. It is a boundary you command.
You're no longer defined by the chaos you escaped.
You're defined by the unwavering peace you have claimed for yourself.
Your future self is the greatest testament to your courage. Take this knowledge, hold that line, and remember the profound difference between passively surviving and actively thriving. The real work of building a life defined by your own boundaries. It starts now.